We're ready for our run for Spider-Man. The bid war ended on the Dreamcast, and yeah, our runner Spyron is ready to do the run. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. My name is Spyran. I am indeed running on Dreamcast. I was ready with the N64 literally 5 seconds before we started, and then I saw it tick over to Dreamcast. So thank you, everyone, for making me unplug wires and plug wires back in. That was excellent. So I primarily run Spider-Man. I've run other games as well, but if anyone asks, really, it's only Spider-Man. If anyone ever comes to my stream, it's Spider-Man generally that you'll find me running. Um, this is like I said, the Dreamcast version. There's 4 different ports technically. There is PC, there's PlayStation, there's Dreamcast, and there's N64. The Dreamcast is quite a cool version, so hopefully we'll be able to explain all the different funny things. And Mac, technically, we don't really speak about that because no one really cares about that one, unfortunately. Very sad. But you did also just hear the voice of my co-commentator, Mr. Willie Fetty. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi guys, it's me, Willie Fetty. I usually just go by Fetty. And yeah, usually I'm his partner in crime. I speedrun on other games as well, but I got my speedrunning start on this game. And basically, I hold a couple world records, but this man has snatched them all from me on everything that I could possibly think of. So the best person to be running this game right now is definitely him. To show it off. On a platform that I don't play too often, the Dreamcast. It's got a lot of different stuff from PlayStation, but yeah, that's me. Hi, I'm the knowledge guy.
There you go. So. Absolutely. Yeah, the Dreamcast definitely, I'd say, one of the least popular versions run, even though I think we secretly kind of say it's the best version. Some people don't agree, but I'll explain why I think. There we go. So I'll explain why I think it's the best version or one of the better versions when we actually get going. You should be able to see straight away, hopefully, if you've seen this game before, why it's good. So yeah, we'll get started in just a second. Time starts on when we select difficulty. But just, is there anything else we need to mention beforehand? I don't think so. We're running in the Scarlet Spidey costume in honor of Fetty because that's his favorite costume. So there's that, and I think everything else we can explain as we run the game. So we'll do that. So countdown to time in 3, 2, 1, begin.
Are we doing the thing where we don't reveal the story yet?
Sure. Yeah.
All right, cool. So you're gonna notice that New York is completely covered in this green substance, and on Dreamcast it's yellow. A mysterious person released some gas into the city. This game, as Spyran was probably going to explain, has its tank control. What a wise man once said, it's Resident Evil controls with Spider-Man's swinging ability.
It's true. It's pretty accurate, that, to be fair.
Like, pretty much, like Spider-Man's going about his normal day. We got to go. There's a bank robbery going on. We got to save some hostages. And the way we're going to do that is by web swinging, using web balls, web domes, and web pools. And a whole bunch of something we call zipping, which is basically where Spider-Man sticks a web to a wall by pressing the swing button without jumping. You're going to see it right here in action where he's going to immediately web dome to knock everybody off and web ball. And that should be... Yeah, he likes to stay there. But that's basically his abilities. And also he likes to stick to walls, and we don't like him to stick to walls.
No, that's slow. That's slow. We don't like that.
So we try to make walls not exist in this game because Spider-Man is paper thin. So he can just basically go through whatever wall we want him to. And he can break the level and deload it. So this level, we're supposed to be saving a whole bunch of hostages. Spyran is expertly going through the load triggers to save all the hostages. And since we're on easy mode, they kind of just don't care that we swung all the way through there and let them free them. So
no,
we're on
it's
to
fine.
the next one.
We just kind of give them a little tickle, a little touch on the head. Sometimes we don't even need to do that, and they'll just start running. It's like perfect.
Yeah, man. The thing is when we say, you're about to see throughout this entire game, when we say that walls don't matter, walls don't matter. Okay, so this is the big thing we could also talk about is on Dreamcast and PC, but mainly Dreamcast, it runs at 60 frames per second. So you just saw him glitch through a door. That bomb door is supposed to be closed. And this is a bomb apparently. So we were supposed to open up that door, but we deloaded the door, so now we can just throw the bomb in. But yeah, we basically, I forget. Oh yeah, Dreamcast.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Dreamcast. We get shot a lot running on Dreamcast. It runs at 60 frames per second on the PAL version of the game, which luckily Spyran is running on. So
it is. Shout out UK. Let's go.
Yeah, shout out the UK. You're gonna see Spider-Man do some weird things because the game runs at 60 and it's meant to run at 30. So you're kind of gonna see him swing higher, all of that stuff. Spider-Man's cutscenes depend on his frame rate. So right now he is doing something we call web canceling. So usually whenever you swing, you see that Spider-Man will swing 2 full swings in whatever direction. There's an invisible targeting mode that is always active that we can make uninvisible, which we'll do later on. That we have to do later on in the run. But it likes to randomly target things, and the quickest way is to cut the swings. So what we do is we press A to cut the swings, and good job on Race of the Bugle, by the way.
Thank you, thank you.
But we like to cut the swings in order for it to speed up the process of swinging, honestly, and we don't lose a lot of height. But you can go ahead and explain Scorpion while we're here, I guess.
Yeah, so I've stuffed the combo already, but essentially what we're trying to do here is we get the web gloves on. That's another web move. We do kick, punch combos because that deals the most damage. We're trying to finish him off before, ideally, J. Jonah Jameson runs into the next room, which we did. So we beat him before he beats the next room, which means we skip a cutscene, which is excellent. That is ideal.
Literally the difference between world record and not world record, by the way.
Can be, yeah, literally.
But yeah, that is one of the harder things to do. That's the most reset heavy part of the run is boss fights.
Yeah, which luckily that stopping boss fight is nice and quick because it's at the beginning of the game. So if you reset there, it's like, oh, you've not lost loads of time at least.
True. So we should talk about the story while you're web swinging between these buildings real quick. But yeah, so J. Jonah Jameson just got saved from Scorpion, as y'all could see by Spider-Man, and called the cops on Spider-Man. And now the appropriate response of the New York City Police Department is to send a police chopper and all of the gunmen that are randomly on roofs after him.
Yeah, reasonable response, to be fair. I understand it.
Reasonable response to Spider-Man. I don't think they would do it if it was Captain America, I'm going to be honest with you.
No,
but you're
probably true.
You're gonna see him do a little cheeky thing here. We're just supposed to be crawling up this wall, avoiding missiles. He's saving a little bit of time by doing something that looks a lot less dangerous than it actually is, which is using our web zip to roof, our insta zip to roof, to kind of skip him crawling. You can skip sections and also skip that little bit of section on the wall that you would have to crawl to hit the trigger. So
yeah, this one level. One of these levels of many levels where I think, I wish I knew that as a kid because that would have saved loads of time.
Yeah, I don't know how long I struggled on missile attack for like just not being able to get through it. Here's where you're going to see where web canceling actually comes into play here. The one big advantage besides swinging faster to web canceling is the fact that we can actually change where Spider-Man is targeting. So think of it like an Insomniac game, right? Where you can kind of change its momentum. We have to keep his momentum as high as possible, and also to get accurate with where we need to swing, we need to change his position. So the easiest way to do that is by cutting his swings. And you are going to take a safe here.
Yeah, there we go. A bit scared of falling into the void. That's fine. There we go. I can never tell. Sometimes on other versions of the game, sometimes you can fall and you'll land on the platform. Other times it'll just fall and you'll die. I can't remember which way Dreamcast does. So we took it easy.
Big skip incoming, by the way. So
yeah,
this is recent discovery.
Yeah, if you ever wondered what Spider-Man's kind of like, you know, many powers, many cool powers. Secret power, flying. You ever heard of Spider-Man flying? Well, now you have. There he goes, and there he is.
So what's cool about that is it was found very recently. I think did Nilo find it?
Yes.
It was
Shout out to Nilo.
Shout out to Nilo. And he's a great Spider-Man runner, probably the best, honestly, if we have to go by pure time standard. But he found a way to cancel Spider-Man's momentum by using that invisible targeting mode that I was talking about, making it visible and canceling a web swing in the middle of him targeting another thing. So there you go. It messes with the physics, and we keep the momentum going as Spyran hitting beautiful web.
Beautiful, yeah, nice. That very nice.
And now we're on to probably the most memed on boss fight in our community. It's the Rhino boss fight. There's a couple of ways to do this. You could either have him the normal way, run into the generators. You can kick punch combo like we've done, but you can see he does like to fight back. Or you can do this, which is just web dome infinitely, and yeah.
Yeah, by holding down a combination of 3 buttons essentially, which is the web dome, which is Y and right on the D-pad, but then also holding down B, which is your attack button, it instantly forms and then pops the web domes, which you can just repeatedly by holding down the buttons or repeat over and over again, and it just constantly deals damage to him without him really hitting you. Sometimes he hits you, so he hit me at the very start of that, but otherwise it's relatively clean.
All right, so this section right here is we're just gonna chase Venom. Usually, if we're fast enough, he has to chase us. We have to keep this little meter at the top. We have to make sure that we're not too far away from it. We can either be too far ahead or too far behind, and that will make Venom lose us. Like, so we're basically racing him right now. If you're wondering why Venom showed up in the story, it's because someone at the beginning of the game, before the fog was released, stole a piece of technology from a reformed Doc Ock, and Venom, being the lethal protector he is, since someone framed Spider-Man, said, "I'm gonna kidnap your wife, and you're gonna have to chase me down for it."
Again, another perfectly reasonable response by someone in this game. Fair enough, yeah.
Most definitely. So yeah, Venom playing the hero decides to kidnap someone, and an innocent bystander. So
sorry, lady, didn't see a thing.
We are chasing him down to find our wife. But we decided to deal with Rhino first, as Spider-Man would, to save innocent civilians, because I think he knows that deep down that Venom probably will not kill Mary Jane.
Yeah, he probably thinks, well, we can come, that's my problem. The Rhino thing's like other people's problem. We got to deal with that first. As he would, you know, superhero, but the best superhero in my opinion, of course. But I might be biased, that's fine.
So you saw Spyran wait there. It's because, especially on Dreamcast, he was way ahead of Venom, so you're not going to see him in this cutscene. He's supposed to be here.
He's gone, sorry.
Yeah, he was too quick, so he didn't want to lose him entering the cutscene. And now we're going to fight Venom. So Venom, I've heard people say like that the reason he goes invisible is because he's invisible to Spider-Man's spider sense. Little known fact, back in the 90s when Venom was created, he has the power of invisibility, so he can just turn himself invisible. That's the big thing. But this fight is just an easy kick punch combo, as commentator
missed the last one.
Right now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Boom,
but on PlayStation, we have a little button called L2 that lets us lock onto Venom wherever we want, whenever he spawns in. On Dreamcast, it's and N64, you kind of have to look for his spawns.
Yeah,
so.
PC same as well. Yeah, you literally, there's no way, unfortunately, of locking on. I don't know why they didn't add that. I guess controller, like lack of buttons, I guess. Because the other fun thing about this version of the game as well is the web zip, like the zip up button where we did like on missile attack where we zipped upwards. Whenever we do that, we actually have to press 2 buttons on the Dreamcast. Or on every other version of the game, it's just 1 button, but it's 2 buttons.
So super clean. Hey, super clean. Going under the pipes there instead of going over them is very risky and dangerous to people who aren't experienced, and it's still dangerous. It can kill runs to people who are. By the way, this doesn't save any time at all. We just do it to glitch the cutscene.
It just makes the cutscene look funny. It's required, really. If anyone doesn't do that, we automatically just reject the run because it's no fun.
Right. Yeah. Now we're entering something. We're entering. This is actual sewer cavern, right? Am I tripping? That's what this one is.
This one is yes. We normally call it God pipes. Is the kind of like colloquial term that we all refer to it as. Because of these pipes that you're about to see in a second.
So it wants you to use your targeting mode, but instead we say, hey, nah, that targeting mode's invisible. We don't really need to go into it. So we save time by not touching a single pipe. The one rule of Spider-Man in this, or the 2 rules of Spider-Man in this game are don't listen to walls. Walls are just a lie. And if you stick to anything, if you use his signature superpower, it's slow.
Yes.
So.
Instead he uses his other signature superpower, flying. Do that one instead.
True, right. Also, you're gonna see him do something here. I'm hoping he's actually lining up for what I'm thinking about. Yeah, you get this.
Oh wow! Oh, we were in, and then it scuffed us now. All right, hold on.
I prematurely said it. You should be in. Oh, never mind.
Okay, there was 2
Please
of them.
do not fall off train. I will cry.
Let's not do that. Hold on. Let's try and.
So, So what he's trying to do right now is he's basically, since Spider-Man is a paper-thin model, that's what his actual model is. It's why
There we
we can
go.
glitch through walls. So are all the enemies in the game. So we can
Cinema.
just kind of, yeah, cinema. We can kind of just basically jump into inside enemies. It's how we were able to do it with Rhino. We could technically do it with Scorpion. I think you saw there when he messed up his combo. We were inside Scorpion for a little bit, and now we're glitched inside of a lizard.
Indeed.
And
Because of that, for whatever reason, the other lizards just kind of stare at you and don't attack you, so you can sit here. It's a nice kind of like 2-minute breather before the game gets a bit wild, and there's a skip literally on every level coming up then afterwards. So it's a nice little breather.
Also, this would be a perfect moment if we have any donations. We're going to be on the train for about 40 more seconds. So
Indeed.
perfect moment for donations.
Awesome. We do have one donation from IzzyHo58, who was the previous restreamer and host, that says, had a blast running and hosting for License-a-thon 2025 and raising money for a very important cause. Good luck to everyone on the finale of the marathon. Can't wait for next year.
Hell yeah, let's
Nice.
go.
Hey,
Mary Jane's at the
I'm
All
honestly,
right.
I'm glad that y'all had us. So.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh,
it's
man.
Spider-Man. We have to.
I mean,
True.
come on. Yeah.
Apparently this me and Spyran were talking about this recently. Apparently this is starting to become a big game on campus now. So I'm happy that it's getting shown off everywhere. And for anybody out there who played this game as a child, I'm hoping that we unlock some core memories and you can go back and finally beat this game with these strategies. So
Yeah, and if not, if you can't tell what's going on from the run here, excellent tutorial online by a very special someone. You can find that on YouTube if you want to learn the game. Great tutorial, I would recommend.
true. It teaches you how to, from getting it set up all the way to how to run the game. So now we're
Exactly.
entering something called the Gauntlet. This is where every single level has a skip. Every single level has a trick, and this will make or break a run. If you mess up even once here, it's kind of just with how things are. You can still get a great time, but with how things are, you kind of have to be precise. As I said, paper thin Spider-Man, paper thin walls. He just used targeting mode to be able to glitch through. So honestly, I don't know how hidden switches works on Dreamcast, so you might
Oh,
want to
okay.
explain.
So we go over to the left-hand side here, essentially. For whatever reason, Spider-Man just ignores collision on this wall, and we can just kind of zip through it. And it's done.
Cool.
And that's the level.
Instead of pressing 4 buttons and letting the water lower, we could just hit the low trigger. So, man, I'll let you concentrate real quick.
Yeah, thanks. No worries.
All right, so this is Tunnel Crawl. Usually, you're gonna see we're in the sewers, right? So water goes up and down in the sewers apparently. And Spider-Man on PS1, if his pinky toe touches the water, he dies. But on Dreamcast and N64, you get a little bit of leeway. Also, he's doing something now called roof zipping, which is basically we need to hit the swing button like if we would normally be zipping, and he needs to be also zipping up at the same time, so it lines Spider-Man up, so it thinks that he's zipping to another place. And then we're gonna hit something here. Instead of hitting a trigger to lower the water, what we're gonna do is we're going to use our flying technique that Spider-Man just learned, and we're gonna completely skip this whole level and go into
There
the
we go.
load zone.
Nice.
But yeah, usually you're supposed to take that in 2 cycles. If you just normally crawl it, the water will rise and lower, rise and lower. So you're usually supposed to take that in 2 cycles. If you're smart about it and use roof zipping, then you can do it in 1. This skip does not work on Dreamcast, but if you're watching the tutorial in the future, ooh, foreshadowing.
Ooh.
If you're watching the PS1 tutorial, there is a skip here that skips this entire level, but what he did there was shoot a web ball and turn around and use a no skips tactic, which is letting that web ball hang out in the air to hit the button and then turning around and hitting another button to cancel a cutscene load. So now he's going to take his roof zipping to the next level and basically try to swing as well and avoid the water. This is something. It's the lizard maze, so he's in the lizard's lair. But we're not going to take the maze at all. He's going to glitch right outside the wall because walls are a myth. And he's going to get right to the end of the maze. And also, he's going to go for the big boy skip here, which is going to skip an entire cutscene. So he's going to glitch out of the wall. And instead of walking into this cutscene, he's just going to swing into the low trigger. That was beautiful, by the way.
Thank you. Huge.
Saves a lot more time than it looks like. Now we're
Everyone
on
hates
to
this level.
we're on to the R&D boss fight. So Yeah, I'll let you take it away, man.
Yeah, so essentially what happens here is Venom can spawn in one of 4 locations. Ideally, we want him to spawn there every time in front of us. He can spawn across from us, though. That's not too bad. We're getting very lucky here, actually, spawning in front of us twice. We need 3 kick punch combos to defeat him, essentially. So that's what we're trying to aim for. What a nice guy. Look at this. Guys, you've just witnessed, that's the best RNG you'll ever see in your life. You all need to go and buy a lottery ticket right now. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Because he can also spawn in the there's 4 places he could spawn. The reason we stand there looking at that wall is because we're trying to manipulate him into spawning in one of 2 places.
Yeah.
But he's an evil human being. So he doesn't like spawning there, but that was crazy. So this is Symbiotes Infest Bugle, aka SIB. Me and a fellow runner named Burke Maverick found a way to glitch through this level and deload it. So instead of saving all the hostages, we're gonna just swing under the level.
Leave them in the rafters, leave them in the vents, wherever they are. It doesn't matter. We're just gonna get out of there. We don't care.
All right, another great level where we need to actually defeat some symbiotes and everything like that. Oh no, we're just gonna glitch out of the wall. Shout out to Nilo for finding that technique as well. And yeah, so
yeah,
I guess I could explain this while you're going through stopping the presses for a second.
Cool.
So what he did there was basically Spider-Man's collision is wonky in this game. We've been saying it all game, right? And so he's using targeting mode to basically force Spider-Man outside of, by holding swing down in targeting mode, he's forcing him out of bounds basically in a wall, and you can only do it when walls are lined up like that. But this one, you can just glitch out and jump into the trigger.
I missed it.
You gotta line yourself up, man.
I was too cocky. I went for the jump instantly. Too cocky there.
But yeah, so for this level, on every other version of the game, there isn't a platform like that. So, you know, Spyran, being a native PlayStation runner, honestly,
yeah, let's blame that. Let's blame that, and not my complete utter lack of care.
So like we said, you have to destroy all the generators down here. Instead, we're gonna glitch through a garage and jump into the load trigger.
Perfect.
Now, this is probably if you had to ask the top runners what their favorite skip is, it's honestly probably this one, right, Spyran?
Yeah, this one's a good fun, but quite tricky. But I think quite satisfying then as well, because when you nail this, it looks really cool. What we're going to try and do when these symbiotes stop hitting me is we're going to try and go through this gate here, but the gate's going to close behind us. We're ideally going to zip back through the gate. There we go, like that. To be able to deload the rest of the level, we can jump around the level then and do some nice underground zips to keep the level deloaded. We can then swing to this final area, jump around an invisible wall here, and exit the level.
And now there's 3 different... that skip is so beautiful, and I love that skip. It's very hard for new runners to learn, so there are 2 other backups to that. If you By the way, best song in the game, best boss fight in the game, in my opinion. This is Mysterio. If you want to know where we are in the story, you punch some sense into Venom. So you basically said, "Hey Venom, I didn't do it. You're an idiot." He believes you, and then you find the imposter Spider-Man in the Bugle basement, which was Mysterio. And Spyran's gonna just stand in a glitched place where he can't get grabbed and tell Mysterio to, shrink back down to size. So.
Yeah.
Also,
that was one of the more fun boss fights when you know what to do and you can stand in that position where he doesn't grab you casually. Pretty annoying boss fight. So I'm glad that we have an easy solution to that one.
True. And now we have Warehouse. So this is what we meant by the gauntlet. I don't think we've only had 1 level without a skip, and that's just because we're on Dreamcast. He's gonna glitch himself through a barrel, completely avoiding the load triggers for the rest of the level.
Nailed it.
Perfect. And he's gonna jump blindly and count the fans and hold forward, and he just jumped into the load zone. So now the gauntlet's over, and we're just gonna swing by some lasers. What you missed is we fell from a warehouse that was ground level all the way to the bottom of the ocean.
Yes.
So comic book logic here. We are now at the bottom of the ocean. So
yeah,
somehow Spider-Man survived it.
We're approaching the end of the game where we've now got 2 levels, including this one, where there's no boss fights, and then 3 boss fights back to back, essentially. So we are approaching the end of the game. This has gone by very, very fast, I have to say. We're doing very well. Doing very well here.
Yeah. Most definitely. you're actually you're actually, if you wouldn't have messed up that skip you were doing, you were like you
we
were
were
doing
flying a little
something.
bit.
Let's put it that way. Let's put it that way. You were doing something. But yeah, so this is stopping the fog. We're down here to free Black Cat, who if you're keeping up with the cutscene, she got captured, guys. You guys just weren't paying attention. So
Yes.
he's picking up Fireweb here because he needs to hit 3 buttons, right? In order to close, close the vents that are putting out the fog. But what he just did was he hit 1 button because the Fireweb, for some reason, can hit all 3 on 1 trigger.
Yeah.
So
Fireweb seems to have some like I took it really safe there. If you do that wrong, there's different variations of that based on what platform you're on. There's a variation that's the fastest, I think, on PlayStation, where you can literally just like spam and skip all the cutscenes. If you skip any of the cutscenes while you do that trick on Dreamcast, you crash your console and you've got to just turn it off because it won't load. So we took that nice and safe.
And it was great. It saves a lot of time. Wait, who's the bad guy though? Who was like the big bad?
Oh
my god!
No way!
It was Doc Ock. It was Doc Ock the whole time.
The whole time.
The whole time. You guys don't know this, but he was apparently reformed. We kind of skipped that cutscene. So.
Which, speaking of, just as like a casual game, I would recommend this anyway. The story is really fun and very much like very comic booky. So if you enjoy like the Marvel universe just in general, this is a great game for you.
Yeah, the creators of this and the sequel were big fans of the comics, so they wanted to like take it from the continuity of the comics at the time.
That's it.
So.
Time to pay the piper, Ock.
And I am going to talk right over this because it's free on Dreamcast. But,
it's free apparently.
You're supposed to do that in 2 to 3 cycles. If you kick, punch, and web dome on the last frame, there you go. You can do it in 1 cycle.
Easy as that.
Basically required for world record.
Okay, this is Carnage.
Oh my God, Carnage! Yeah, Carnage is here. Carnage, you got to throw him into the sonic bubble in order to damage him. But what the game developers, I think, didn't really intend for was the fact that you can kind of stun lock him if you have him in a corner of one of these generators with web balls. So yeah, you can kind of just keep him in the sonic bubble instead of having to web yank him.
The good thing about this on easy as well is because the web balls do deal damage on easy to him. You can literally just sit here and spam him away. Obviously, when the bubble forms, he gets a lot more damage taken. So yeah, nice and fast. Man down.
All right, cool. And now we are on to the last level of the game. If anyone played this in their childhood, they remember this level if they ever got here. This is everyone's childhood trauma. Oh my gosh, is that Carnage and Doc Ock?
It is. It is.
Is that Carnage and Doc Ock? Something that never has happened in the comics for some reason?
Yeah, still to this day, I don't understand. So yeah, this is a wholly original character that they came up with for the game, and it has never been used ever or since. And I just don't understand why.
It's such a cool design.
Yeah, it's. Oh, as we try not to stick to walls. So essentially, there's no real boss fight here in reality, even though it's a boss level. Because he's too powerful, we are just going to run away from him. You'll see there's that meter at the top again. We don't have to like stay close to him at any point. That's more so just if he gets too close to us, he'll kill us basically, and we have to start all over again.
We need to stay as far away from him as possible.
Exactly.
If anything, it's for our safety. But yeah, so the base is blowing up. Spyran is trying to perfectly navigate his way out of here. And there is a thing though with this level that the Monster Ock AI. The farther you are away from him, and the more triggers you go past, the harder his rubber band becomes. So he will rubber band you like it's Mario Kart. And on the harder difficulties, it does get a little bit difficult to keep control of where he is. So.
Yeah, so we just try and go fast, basically, there is the rule of thumb, and as long as you know the layout of the map doesn't change, obviously, every time. It's literally the same. So, as long as you know where you're going, it's pretty straightforward. You just gotta be fast.
Yep, and there's a lot of ways to do it, which is he's using a combination of web swinging and web zipping as well.
And time is about to come up, just by the way. As soon as time fades to black, in the next, like, 10 seconds, or 5 seconds or so, it's gonna time now. That's time.
Hey,
damn.
Congrats, man.
Ooh, we flew actually through
that. That was fast.
Damn, yeah, we actually flew.
Jeez.
And so that's Spider-Man. So if you're looking for a run that's fast, then this is the game for you. Yeah, lots of skips, obviously, which makes it really fun. But it also allows you to pace yourself. You can just do like, oh, I'll learn this skip and then do the rest of the level normal. Okay, and then you'll introduce the next skip, introduce the next skip. It's really good. I think this game, great for kind of people who enjoy all-around speedruns, where it's like you've got some glitches, you've got some cool fancy speed tech with him like swinging and zipping places, you've got a bit of RNG in there with Venom, boss fights and things like that. It's something for everyone. It's the best. It's the best, truly.
It's a really underrated speed game. Just honestly, from people looking at it, they think it's slow. No, this game is like, it's just a well-balanced and well-paced game for learning, even learning how to speedrun.
And speaking of underrated speed games, up next we have the sequel, which I think is just as good of a speedrun as this one. Some people might disagree, but it definitely has significantly less people running the game, and so I'm hoping we can get more people on this. But the second one is coming up next. We will just need a couple of minutes as I, again, plug wires back in to get the console set up. I believe we're going to cut to a bit of a break, but after that we'll be back, me and Fetty again, and we'll show you the sequel.
See y'all in a second, guys.